What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Chopping It Up with P with the series The Love Island Talks. This is the final episode of Love Island Talks for this season of Love Island, season 8, and it's been unreal. It's been a roller coaster. Every single week it's been a little different. It's been a little Vindictus. Very interesting season this year, and it's been fun and interesting watching it. I'm in a different location right now, so bear with me. I'm in France, so this is recorded in France. So, yeah, we're in the French zone right now. I'm alone today again as well. As you can tell, my co-host decided not to do it this week. Fuck him. Nah, just playing. But, it's better with me. Y'all know that. Come on now. So we're going to start off where we ended. Last week we ended on the episode of Parmita and Corbin getting kicked off the island. And again, I shared how I felt about that, but it is what it is. So we're starting off on that episode. Kata was saying how she thinks Casey and TT should have been in the bottom 3, and she thinks it's bullshit. If I'm being very honest with that, I don't think that's real. I think if we're looking at the genuineness between all the couples, Casey and TT shouldn't be down there. They really shouldn't. If we're looking at the genuineness and what kind of couple it is and how they complement each other, Casey and TT should not be down deep in any bottom. So what I think she said is kind of bullshit. I think she's just scared of not making it to the finals, or maybe doubts of the relationship was at. But if I'm being very honest, Casey and TT I feel like are the most compatible in the villa, if I'm being very honest. So I think what she said was a little bullshit. It might have been a little jealousy, I don't really know, but I think what she said was just not really the truth. Kenzie asks if she would have went home. Kenzie asked if she would have went home with who would vote, and everyone stayed quiet. So they're seeing this shit, you know what I'm saying? They're seeing this shit. They wouldn't be surprised if he went home. So again, that's just that just is what it is with Kenzie. I'm telling y'all, if it was down to Casey and Parmita and Kenzie and Dylan, I think Kenzie would have been saved again just because of the friendships from the villa. But if we're talking about a standpoint of genuineness and couples that complement each other from Love Island, I think Corbin and Parmita would have won. But again, we don't really know because that's not really what happened. They got saved because of the challenge. So I don't know. Dylan expresses his feelings to Kenzie about his doubts in the connection. I think that's real. I think we need to be able, I think both genders as men and women, we need to be able to sit down and communicate how we're feeling, no matter what the cost is, no matter, it is what it is. That's how you're feeling. So you need to be able to communicate that. You need to be able to reciprocate that to the person you're talking to or building something with. And I think that's what he did. I think it was just serious talk that needed to have. So the crying part was a little off to me, but he got his point across. So that's all that really matters. Sincere is starting to step up. We do see Sincere starting to step up, and it's showing through Melanie's words and appreciation. So that was something that was nice to see, because again, everything they've been going through since the start of this season to now, it's been hard. So it was good to see that step up from him and showing that he really cares and he wants to make this work, So she is taking it back a little bit. We don't really know at this point in this episode. Kenzie says she feels like she should be over it, and you can't. Kenzie says Dylan should be over the whole situation with Corbin and Caleb and all that stuff, because you can't build a relationship with no trust. which I completely understand. But you gotta understand, no trust came from a mess up. It came from how you were moving. It came from what you were doing. So you can't blame Dylan for having his doubts because of the way you was moving. That's not fair to him. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why Dylan has his doubts. Everyone does. Look, she was moving crazy. You gotta accept that though. You know what I'm saying? Now you can say, okay, I can fix it. But you gotta accept how you was moving first. I think that's just first and foremost. Which I agree with, because he's entitled to feel the way he feels because of her actions. So you can't sit here and get mad because he's processing for however long he wants to process it for. Because again, those were your actions. Your actions made him feel that way. Does that make sense? So that was that episode. The next episode, Melanie and Sincere get to go to the hideaway. Now, I think it was a long time coming. But it did take a minute to get there. So I mean, yeah, they get into the hideaway. I don't think nothing crazy happens. I think normal stuff happens. But like man to man, I do think Sincere not saying what exactly happened was real. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like those are the type of things like you need to leave for you and your girl. Again, code words, I get it to a certain extent. But he kept it a buck. He just didn't want to say too much, which I respect and I understand. So that's real. The girls do get a date themselves. I think it was needed. I think it was it was back-to-back stuff from, bombshells to challenges to doubts and all that to Casa to movie night to a lot of different shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think the reset day for them and for the guys, for them to be apart away from each other was needed. And you can generally see that through the show and through obviously the screen. I think it was needed to both guys and girls needed time away from each other to reconnect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Kenzie does end up apologizing, which I did not see coming. So that's a step. Kenzie ends up apologizing and takes accountability and makes up with Dylan and takes up part of it. She understands what she did wrong, and she's putting the best foot forward to say, sorry, this is how I'm going to move, and this is how it works. And that's really all he needed. That's really all he wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? Just validate the way he's feeling, and so you'll do better. Simple as that. And I think that's a great step up, because I think that's what she needed to do. Now, Kayla does get mad at the girls for saying that they think it's a situationship. And what Trinity said was true. A situationship is when you're dating, like you're doing a couple things. You're doing a couple things, but you don't have a label for it yet. You know what I'm saying? You're doing all the lovey-dovey shit. You're going out on dates. You're, messing with each other. You're probably definitely being physical and stuff like that. You're doing the like lovey-dovey shit of a relationship, but you haven't put a label on it yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what a situationship is, and that's exactly what they're in. But I don't know where Kayla was coming from with being mad about that, because she just called it what it was. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were literally in the a situationship. I think it was just plain and simple. I don't know why she was very mad about that. I don't know. She explained it. I didn't really understand it, but y'all are definitely in a situationship. Now, next episode is Family Day. Very, very recurring on Love Island. Very highly anticipated episode on Love Island for sure, because you kind of get to see the families coming together and just really meeting each other and see how the flow of it is for themselves. And it's obviously good for the Islanders because they haven't seen or talked or texted to anyone on the outside world for damn near a month. So for them, it's great. First and foremost, Bryce's grandma was funny as hell. She's funny as shit. Bryce, shout out to your grandma. She was funny as shit. Whatever she was saying all the time, funny as fuck. But if I'm getting to real shit, I do want to say I respect Sincere Stat a lot, because he said what needed to be said. He said what he had to say. He could have kept it short for the cameras and kept it short and sweet, but he kept it real. And that's what really matters. He called him out in front of Melanie's fam. Now, was that necessarily needed? That could go both ways. But he kept it real in front of him. And that's what we needed at the time. I think what his dad said was right. If you did that shit in the street, in the real world, she would have been cut your ass off. And that's true. Because no one's dealing with that in the outside world. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously different when you don't have your phone and you're with that person 24/7. You know what I'm saying? It's different. I understand it. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's right. Maybe there's a part of it where it's like he's the only option there. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you don't have your phone. You're there 24/7 with that person. So, you know, yeah. But like, I truly do feel like she likes him and he understands he fucked up. So he's going to do that. He's going to work and do what he has to do to unfuck the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Melanie's family kept it real with her too. Respect that a lot. I can feel Melanie's mom's emotions and her hurt for her daughter through the damn screen, because it was just so much for them, especially with her sister too. The way her sister was talking, it felt like it was really coming from a place of hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you can fake that shit for sure. So straight up, that was just real and respect from them. Melanie's sister said the right things. I can't lie. She did say the right things. They were harsh and they were hard to hear, but ultimately they were the right things to say, because it is the truth what they said, and it needed to be said. Now, with that being said, does that mean Sincere can't work his way back? Obviously not. You know, obviously he can work his way back and work his way up to Melanie's family and stuff. It could work, but ultimately that's going to take some time, and that's up to Sincere to put in the work. Now, again, I respect both families. It was very interesting to see what they said and how they said it and how they approached the situation. So that was very good to see and very respectable to see. So yeah, definitely a great episode for that. It kind of knocked some sense into Sincere. Really got to see a different side of him, to, you know, see how he operated with that kind of information being thrown at him. And yeah, so I think the only way is up for them here. If I'm being very honest, I think Sincere understands what he did wrong, and he's just gonna move. He's gonna move on from it. You know, I think it's really that is. You know what I'm saying? Episode 33, the final four are revealed. Do I agree with it? I don't know. The final four is supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be more compatibility. So I don't know. If I'm being honest, do I agree with it? Not necessarily, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, Trinity and Bryce do end up winning. And again, do I agree with it? I'll say yes, just because of what was given. You know what I'm saying? I'll say yes just because of the final couples of what was given. If I had to pick one, I'll say Trinity and Bryce too. Even though I was a little harsh on Trinity for a little bit because of what she did. Bryce really opened up. I think Trinity really opened up as well. At one point, they just locked in on each other, and it really is what it was. So them winning wasn't a shock, because I do think they were going to win, but it was good. I think it was a long time coming. So that was good to see that. So yeah, that's all I have for y'all. Thank y'all for sticking through the pod for Love Island Talks. It was a very interesting season, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of interesting things that we get to learn from and move on from, and we can kind of see how like we can implicate that into our own lives for sure. So yeah, so it was good to see. It was good to see that, and yeah, I appreciate y'all for tagging along. All the socials will be down below in the description. I appreciate y'all coming in every week, checking it out, and just being with me for this ride. We're still stacking. We're going to get there soon, I promise y'all. I love doing what I do. I love doing this, and we're going to get there soon. All right, so I appreciate y'all for watching. Subscribe, do everything what you got to do, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.